does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
Say what now, not Jaguar Wright exposing Beyonce and Jay-Z for allegedly keeping bodies in their house, and Jay-Z apparently selling Diddy out to the feds. Chill, y'all better get in here and grab yourself a chair for this mess, because this mess with Diddy is just getting more and more intense by the minute, and Jaguar Wright is on top of it. This comes after she went on national television and revealed that Beyonce and Jay-Z has allegedly been unaliving people and keeping the bodies in their house for some depraved rituals. But she wasn't done with just that, y'all. She also alleged that Jay-Z has been in contact with the feds for years now, and that he was the one who was allegedly funding the investigation into Diddy so he could protect himself from getting incriminated, baby. I don't know where Jaguar getting all this information from, but our girl was brave enough to throw these allegations around on national television with millions of people tuned in, so she got to have some sort of evidence to back it up when ish hits the fan. Now, before we get into it, I want y'all to know Jaguar hasn't given any proof to support these wild claims, so we can't sit here and say for certain that it's true. But one thing about Jaguar, she's never been wrong a day in her life, so I advise y'all to take this with a pinch of salt, okay? So the entire mess went down just a few days ago when Jaguar was invited as a guest on the Piers Morgan show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. This was a huge platform for Jaguar cause it was her first interview on national TV, and she ain't hold back at all. From dragging Beyonce and Jay-Z for filth and exposing some disturbing things that they allegedly did, Jaguar accused Jay-Z and Beyonce of being a nasty, dirty couple with skeletons in their closet. She said Jay-Z was the one who pumped millions of dollars into funding the investigation of R. Kelly so that the heat wouldn't catch up to him, and he's allegedly doing the same thing to Diddy right now. She also said she currently has 3 victims in her possession who are willing to testify in court about what Jay-Z and Beyonce allegedly did to them. She said Jay and Beyonce allegedly dare people till they fell unconscious, then moved them to their house to do whatever they please with them. Jaguar also claims that there are bodies in Beyonce and Jay's house, and that Jay had a hand in Aaliyah's death.
Publicly, Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about. If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
Guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland?
These allegations shook the entire internet, and people couldn't help but bring up the fact that Jay and Beyonce were extremely close to Diddy. Not only that, but people brought up a song called Daughter from Beyonce's recent album Cowboy Carter, in which she details possibly unaliving somebody. After she caught the person sleeping with her husband in the song, Beyonce gave real graphic details about how her partner and the bedroom attendant, who was a huge fan of her, cleared up the scene in the song. Beyonce talked about how everyone thinks she's this sweet innocent damsel in distress when she's actually just as sick as her. Father, the lyrics read, your body laid out on these filthy floors, your BL stains on my custom couture bathroom attendant. Let me write, and she was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance deserved my solitude. Now I ripped your dress, and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. They keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me just like my father, I'm colder than Titanic water. She added, help me, Lord, from these fantasies in my head. They ain't never been safe. Once did my best impression of a damsel in distress. This alcohol and smell of regret. Now this may just be a dark song that Beyonce and her writers came up with in the studio, but folks are convinced that this was a real subtle confession from her about what she and Jay-Z allegedly did to his pregnant mistress Kathy White. At the time of Kathy's death, the pathologist concluded that she had died from a brain aneurysm. But Jaguar Wright had something else to say, and she accused J&B of allegedly taking Kathy out. Jaguar first spoke on this during an IG last year, where she said the claims about Kathy dying from a brain aneurysm were a lie, and that Kathy was actually brutally warded in her own house. According to Jaguar, Jay decided to take Kathy out because Beyonce found out about the affair, and she was planning on taking matters into her own hands if Jay ain't do it.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think, and maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake? I mean, I'm just speculating.
As if these allegations ain't wild enough, Jaguar later appeared in another interview, and this time she ain't only accused Beyonce of being responsible for Kathy's death. She also said Beyonce allegedly faked her pregnancy, and that Blue Ivy is possibly the kid that Kathy was carrying when she was unalive.
Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress.
Yeah.
Who died of an imaginary aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the f was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is f***ing you. And the boss's boss don't get no f***. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder